In this video, we're going to be using the Adobe Capture app to digitally capture the silhouette of an object that we will later use to produce a vinyl shadow. We're going to be using the production iPad to do this, but you can download the app to your own device and collaborate just as easily. By the end of this video, you should understand how to create and share libraries, how to capture silhouettes, also known as assets, edit those assets, and save them out so that they can be utilized on the Adobe Creative Cloud platform. So I have the production iPad open to the main screen, and the first important step is going to be opening the Adobe Capture app, which we find in the center here. The second important step is to select the library. If you have not been instructed to use a particular library, then you may have to create your own. So we're going to select the library here, and we're going to add a library. And I'm going to call this new library Video Sample. Video Sample. So the key point for this step is that we want to ensure that the library is shared on the Creative Cloud platform. So we're going to click Collaborate here, and we are going to make sure that the library is shared with my email address. So we are going to enter my email address here and invite. And we are done. And so now we are ready to add assets to our library. So the third important step is to create the new asset, and we start that by clicking the Add button down the bottom here and going into the capture window. As you can see here, I have already placed the pair of pliers that I intend to capture on the LED backlight. So the first key point for this step is that we want to ensure that we have a 3" by 3" post-it note in the captured region. And the reason for this is so that we can provide scale to this later. The second important step here is to adjust the threshold slider so that we have a nice clean silhouette. And the third key point to this step is that we want to ensure that the camera is centered over the object and parallel with the object. Otherwise, it will skew the perspective of the object that we are trying to capture. So now I just want to frame the object that I'm trying to capture, make sure it's nice and square, and click the Capture button. So the fourth important step is going to be editing the asset that we have just captured. The eraser tool is selected down the bottom, and we're going to use that to erase any noise. And so I'm using 2 fingers here to pinch and zoom and navigate around the captured image. So now I'm going to select the Draw tool, and so I can use this to basically draw whatever shape I want. And I'm going to use the Undo button there. And what I'm actually going to use the Draw button for is to fill in the voids here within my silhouette. The next important step is going to be cropping the asset as required. So we can adjust the position of the asset as well as the angle using the supplied tools, as well as the crop, and just tighten that up a little bit. And we're looking good. And the sixth important step is to decide whether we are going to use the smooth feature. And so I just toggle between the two and just kind of decide which one I like. And I think I like it on. And the seventh important step is to save the asset. The key point for this step is definitely to provide the asset with a relevant name, using descriptors such as length or size or form. Otherwise, we'll wind up with a library full of pliers, and trying to find the ones that we want will be very difficult. 6" adjustable pliers. And now we click Save. and the asset is available in our library across the Creative Cloud platform. You should now be familiar with the Adobe Capture app itself, as well as features like creating and sharing libraries, as well as developing assets that can later be used to produce vinyl silhouettes. In the next video in this series, we will show you how to use Adobe Illustrator to scale the assets that you have just captured.